Appreciation. There's actually three forms of appreciation that we like to utilize. Appreciation on the buy, or buying a property under market value. Forced appreciation through strategic renovations. And of course, appreciation over time as the market goes up. Appreciation on the buy. Now this one requires a little bit more skill and a little bit more work, but it's something that we like to use at RealAbundance to help hedge the risk of market fluctuations. We generally buy properties that are at least 10% below market value. What this means for our $225,000 house example is that property is actually worth about $250,000. Now the obvious question is, how do you purchase a property for under fair market value? I could, and I probably will, make an entire video about that question alone. But for now, the simple answer is rather the seller is motivated or the property is distressed. Now when we're talking about motivated sellers, think about somebody who's going through a problem like divorce or illness, or maybe they're just getting relocated for work. Either way, getting top dollar for their property isn't their main priority at this time. Their main priority is liquidizing that property, getting the money, and solving the problem. As far as distressed properties go, let's all agree that home ownership can be a daunting task. If the owner doesn't have the financial means to keep up with the maintenance, or if, for example, they're elderly and they can no longer physically do it, it doesn't take long for a property to quickly devalue. The typical home buyer doesn't want to deal with things like shaggy carpets, outdated wallpaper, or a house that smells like cigarettes or cat pee. They don't want to deal with these problems, and they don't want to tackle the renovations. But that leaves investors like us an opportunity to jump in there and grab the property at a discount. At RealAbundance, we like to utilize both of those underlying reasons, along with advanced lead generating strategies such as wholesalers, We Buy Houses websites, online ads, and good old networking to help find the absolute best deals out there. Maybe one of the things I love most is forcing a property to appreciate. This is done through strategic renovations, and identifying and executing on the highest and best use for a property. Highest and best use for a property. Sometimes this is as small as putting in a hard day's work, painting some walls, and getting some messes cleaned up. Other times, it could be as complex as completely tearing down a single-family home and rebuilding a fourplex in its place. And finally, we have appreciation over time. This is the traditional version of appreciation that many of your friends, family members, and especially your grandparents have likely made by owning their properties over time. Real estate has always appreciated over the long haul because value is based on supply and demand. There's a finite amount of usable land on the planet. However, Earth's population increases every single year. This causes the land and the property on it to generally increase in value. It's important to understand that buy and hold real estate investing is typically a long-term investment, and the conservative number for yearly appreciation on average is about 5%. Now with that being said, there are years when appreciation jumps to 10, 20, even 30%. Now let's go back to our example of the $225,000 house. Let's stay conservative and say that we failed to appreciate on the buy, we didn't force any appreciation, and over time it only appreciated 5%. Even with those conservative numbers, we've still made another $11,250 that year. So along with cash flow and mortgage paydown, appreciation brings our return on investment to over $20,000 a year. Now that's getting pretty close to a salary, isn't it? Well, here's the final, but quite possibly the most powerful wealth accelerator. Leverage. Leverage. Say it with me, leverage.